She woke up before I did. I know this because when I opened my eyes, she was already sitting there, watching me. Not blinking, not moving, just watching, as if she had been waiting for this exact moment. Her tail was wrapped neatly around her paws, her posture calm, her gaze focused. It was not an angry look or an impatient one. It was worse. It was the look of a cat who believes she has been starving for a very long time. In her world, time works differently. 6 hours without food is not 6 hours. It is a tragedy. It is neglect. It is a silent crime that must be corrected immediately. She did not meow or demand anything. She simply stared, confident that I would understand. And I did. I always do. When I got out of bed, she moved too. Not following behind, not rushing ahead, but walking beside me, as if we were partners in a very important negotiation. The kitchen was quiet, still half asleep, and she took her place near the bowl before I even reached the light switch. She looked down at it, then at me, then back at the bowl. The message was clear. Something was terribly wrong. I told her she had already eaten. I said it calmly, reasonably, as if logic had ever mattered in a conversation with the cat. She did not react. She did not blink. To her, words mean nothing without action, and action means food. The bowl was not empty, at least not by human standards. There were small pieces left, traces of breakfast, proof that nourishment had happened not so long ago. But to her, leftovers are not food. They are history. And history does not fill an empty stomach. When I opened the refrigerator, she appeared at my feet instantly, as if she had been summoned by the sound. The refrigerator door opening is not a sound to a cat. It is a promise. It is hope. It is the beginning of possibility. She looked up, eyes wide, body perfectly still, waiting to see what I would take out. Milk disappointed her. She turned her head away as if deeply offended. Milk was not the answer to her suffering. I closed the refrigerator, and she sat down in front of me, very close, closer than necessary, close enough to remind me that she was still here and still hungry. Silence followed, heavy and deliberate. A quiet cat is never relaxed. A quiet cat is calculating. I sat down to eat. She sat across from me, watching every movement I made. Each bite I took seemed to offend her personally. In her mind, every piece of food that entered my mouth was one that should have been hers. She looked thin in her own imagination, fragile, a creature barely surviving under unfair conditions. I told her again that she had eaten. She tilted her head slightly, slowly, as if considering my words, and then dismissed them completely. She walked back to the bowl, sniffed it, tapped it lightly with her nose, and looked at me again. Empty, her eyes said. This is empty. This is unacceptable. I tried to ignore her. That was my second mistake. Eventually, I gave in. I always do. I filled the bowl again, just a little, enough to satisfy her, or so I thought. She approached cautiously, inspected the food, sniffed it, then stepped back. She sat down and waited. Maybe later, she seemed to say. Maybe when it is truly important. She walked away, leaving the food untouched, victorious in her control over the situation. 3 minutes later, she returned and sat by the bowl again. The day went on like this. Sleep, hunger, food, disappointment, hope, repetition. She slept deeply, stretched comfortably, full and content, until the moment I stood up or made a sound or opened a drawer. Then one eye would open, slowly, carefully, checking. Is it time again? Is there food? because being full is temporary, but being hungry is a state of mind. She knows every sound in the house. She knows which cabinet holds the treats and which one does not. She knows that bags mean food and that guests sometimes bring snacks. She knows who is weak and who will eventually surrender. She knows that I am not strong. In her world, hunger is not about need. It is about attention, control, love, and routine. It is about reminding me that she is here, that she depends on me, and that I exist primarily to open doors, fill bowls, and understand her silence. She is not greedy. She is not demanding. She is simply a cat. And a cat is always hungry. There are moments when she seems to be thinking about something far more complex than food. She sits by the window, watching the street or the sky, her body relaxed but her eyes alert, and for a while the kitchen does not exist for her at all. But even in those moments, hunger waits in the background, patient and persistent, like a reminder that no thought should last too long without interruption. It is as if food anchors her to the present, pulling her gently back from wherever her attention wanders, reminding her that life is not meant to be lived in long reflections but in short, meaningful returns. I have also noticed that her hunger changes when the house changes. On quiet days, it is soft and predictable, almost polite. On busy days, when voices are louder and routines shift, it becomes sharper, more insistent, as if she is trying to hold the world together through repetition. Each visit to the bowl, each expectant look, becomes a way of restoring balance, of saying that no matter what else happens, some things must remain the same. And if those things include being fed one more time, then so be it. Sometimes I think her hunger is not really about eating at all. It is about certainty. About knowing that the world is still working the way it should, that the bowl will be filled, that the door will open, that I will respond when she looks at me that way. Food is simply the language she uses, the clearest and most reliable one. Through it she checks if everything is still in its place, if I am still here, if nothing important has changed. When she waits by the bowl, she is not counting minutes or portions. She is counting promises. She is making sure that tomorrow will be just like today, that routine still exists, and that in this small, predictable universe, hunger will always be followed by care. Always hungry. Always watching. Always waiting. And always loved.